I was doing a portfolio planning with a business owner client of mine earlier in the week, and inside of the portfolio, he had some existing apartments that he had owned for almost 10 years, and those apartments were worth almost the same today that he paid for them almost 10 years ago. Why haven't you sold these properties? They haven't done anything. And he said to me, well, they've been paying for themselves, so I haven't bothered about selling them. It's not the fact that the properties aren't costing you anything to own. It's the fact that there's opportunity cost in those properties that could be put into other assets that are growing at a much faster rate. The fact that you've owned those properties for say 10 years, you've got a certain amount of capital tied up in them, being the deposit and the stamp duty, that money could be in other assets that would be performing at 5, 6, 7% per annum. It could be millions of dollars worth of difference if you hold them for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And it takes me back to when my parents purchased some investment properties when I was younger, of which they held for 10 or 11 years and then ended up selling for less than what they paid for them. And the big pain point for them was not the fact that they lost money or they made very little money. It's the fact that they could have been invested into other assets that were worth significantly more over the same period of time. If you're holding properties that aren't performing with your fingers crossed like this, hoping that they're going to perform in the future and all of a sudden make you money, if you haven't had growth in those properties over the last 5 years, when we've had some of the largest growth in Australian history, it's very unlikely that they're going to grow into the future. So if I was in your shoes, I would definitely sell those properties down, even if I did have to take a little loss, and I would repurpose the borrowing capacity and the capital that comes out of those properties into better performing assets that are going to make me a lot more money over the long run, because you make your money in real estate by the assets growing in value, not by the properties putting $50 or $100 a week back into your pocket, of which you'll pay income tax on.